You have choice. You have always had choice. What change can we be today? What action can we take to create a future of greater possibilities? Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast with your host, Simone Milasas. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. So today I am with a very good friend of mine that I haven't seen in quite some time, which makes me a little sad, but I am really grateful that she's a friend of mine and she's still in my life, even though we haven't been able to visit each other in Australia in these last couple of years. So welcome, Chutisa Bowman.
Thank you, Simone. And I do miss you so much. You know, we really enjoy spending time together, eating, drinking, eating, talking.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to say though, too, there's been quite a few people that I haven't seen in the past couple of years. And I mean, like Gary Douglas, you know, the founder of Access Consciousness and our mutual friend. It's like when I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, I saw him and I gave him this big hug and we were just like, yay. And I went, God, it feels like I just saw you yesterday as well. And he said, I take that as the biggest compliment because we sort of just take off where we left off. I mean, we obviously talk to each other in the interim and have a lot to do with each other, but I know that this is not what we're talking about in the podcast, but I would just like to say thank you because I think there's a lot of people in my life, which you are one of them, that there's that friendship and that energy and that you've got my back, I've got your back, no matter what, that you don't actually have to hang out all the time. And it's like, I know
Absolutely.
you're there. I want to say thank you. So
thank you.
That's not what we're here to talk about though, but friendship is great. And I just want to say that if you are listening to this podcast, you can now watch it on my YouTube channel, which all the details are in here. So then you can see Chutisa and myself. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget you can go to, you know, Spotify and iTunes, etc., and all that great stuff. So today, okay, so let me give you a bit of a backtrack. I did a call, and it's on my website. It's called It's Your Life. Are You Choosing It? And I did this call, and it was a one-off call that I did. And I had a whole lot of, I actually gifted it to a lot of the Access Consciousness staff. And about 19 minutes in, because a few people actually like wrote the timestamp down and said 19 minutes, you know, 50 seconds or something. I was talking about what do you want to create with your life? Like, what do you desire? Like really, you know, start to get clear on it and take some action, like choose, you got to choose, right? And I was talking about investment. And I said, and you know, pretty much no one ever asked me about investment. They never asked me about what I do or why I choose it or what I know about it. And it was interesting because I just had that one line. I can't remember exactly what I said. That might not be verbatim. And then I had like this trickle of staff pinging me going, okay, 19 minutes in, you really got me. You poked the bear, you know, tell me, like, what do you want to know? So I put a sort of little mini questionnaire out because the one thing I got was a lot of the times when people do approach it and say, hey, can you tell me about investment? Can you tell me about share trading? Can you tell me about this? They're looking for an answer and they're looking for you to give them the answer so that they can get the result that maybe I've obtained, or I can get an even better result for them or something like that. Or they're looking for the conclusionary reality is what I would call, rather than what information do I require? And can we, what I would call is extrapolate. How do I engage with this and extrapolate and be in question of what else is possible? So I didn't answer any of them. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Chutisa Bowman to do a podcast with me, and you guys can send me some questions and then I can go through it and see. And do you know what? I was actually pretty pleased with the questions that were sent in because they weren't just sort of like, tell me what stocks to buy, you know. They were actual,
awesome.
Yeah, they were actual questions. So so I have a few of these. So I'm gonna put my glasses on because I can't see anything without them and it would just be a blur. And I wanted to go through actually let's do a little bit of a background because on both of us. So for myself, I mean, we don't need to do like a huge history of background. But the one thing I'm going to say is my first share trading account, I started with $100. And I didn't tell anyone because I was a little embarrassed. I thought that you had to start share trading account with thousands of dollars, like it was only what rich people chose. But I wanted to start. And so I opened up with my local bank. So in Australia, it was Westpac, and I opened up a Westpac trading account and I put $100 in there. And that was actually a decent amount of money for me to put in there at that time. And every time I had a spare $50, I had a spare $100, I would put it into this trading account. And then I started to actually buy penny stocks. So, and I actually have 3 trading accounts now, and for various reasons. One's, super fund, and one I actually, the original account that I opened, I put in my own name, which rookie mistake. It's like, as you earn more money and as you become more successful, then your personal tax return, I pay 46 cents in the dollar or something. So that trading account I have is in my personal name. So when I sell shares there, that means that it's, capital gains tax, etc. So rookie mistake. I started another trading account, and I haven't actually purchased shares in that old one for quite some time. I did sell a bunch and sort of worked it out. That's a whole other story though. So I have 3 trading accounts, but the other things that really pings me a lot for a very long time was real estate. I always got this hit that I could make money from real estate, but of course I couldn't afford to buy my own house. There was that time where I was, pushing to pay the rent, but I always got this knock at the head. Real estate sort of thing was pinging me. Another thing that I would invest in now is things that have intrinsic value: gold, silver, platinum, jewelry. I have an antiques shop, and I'm also partner in a couple of other antique shops in Brisbane as well. At first, I'm going to say, when I hung out with Gary Douglas, I had the point of view, I was like, why are we in this shop filled with old stuff? And then as I got to have a look at, I remember we went into this shop in New Zealand and it was beautiful, like expensive antiques. And I said to Gary, oh, I get it. I just don't like cheap antiques. I like expensive antiques. So someone's trying to, so anyway, so I sort of started to learn more about antiques as well. And to this day, I don't know a lot about antiques, but what I do know is when I see something, I go, oof, what's that? That's beautiful. And it's elegant and it's gorgeous. And yes, I'll have that. So these are the areas that I've played in. I did attempt to play in currency trading at some point. And I set up, because you can have a dummy account. I set up a dummy account. And I honestly felt like I was back at high school and I was being told to do homework that I didn't want to do. Like there was no joy in it for me. So I did it for a couple of weeks and then went, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Now, here's the thing I would say is, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it in the future, but at the moment, it doesn't interest me. So that's a little bit of my background and sort of where I'm at and the investments that I've chosen. So with that, Chutisa, can you give us a little bit of a synopsis of you, please?
So for me, some people have probably heard this story a number of times, because that's the pivoting point of me being who I am right now. It was about 17 years ago. Again, Gary Douglas was the one who actually wedged and walked with this statement that said, Chutisa, once you totally claim and own to be a CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer of your own life, your life and your financial reality will change beyond what you could ever imagine. Okay, so I said, can you tell me more? He said, no, can't tell you anymore. That's it.
I love that. Yeah.
And then, being me, obsessive compulsive, I asked him every time I saw him, oh, tell me some more. He said, no, that's it. So, so from that moment in time, I made the deliberate choice to educate myself, to actually become aware of what it actually meant when he said that if I make a deliberate choice to become a chief financial officer of my own life, there's so many levels in that comment. So I first recognized that chief financial officer in this reality have to know a lot of things. about investments, about finance, about everything to do about making money works for you. So I educated myself about everything to do with investment, whether it is to do with, forex or share trading or investment properties or anything like that. But another thing that, so I educated myself in every way that we could make money work for us. And then another thing that really changed my reality was when we started working on becoming benevolent capitalist. And the question that I kept on asking was, so what would it mean for me and for Steve and for our family if I can actually be CFO as a benevolent capitalist as well? And that's when everything shifted and changed for me then. So that's basically now.
On that, like benevolent capitalism, because people listening to this are like, what? I mean, most people hear the word capitalism, and run screaming from the room. So when you say benevolent capitalism, what does that mean?
Well, capitalism has had a really bad rap up until now, and likely so, because there's too many people doing from greed, from lack, from more for them, and destroy the world just to make money. And when I became aware that you can still making a lot of money and being capitalist, but from different space, from a space of benevolence, meaning being willing to come from generosity of spirit, from no lack, from create sustainable future for me and for everyone concerned, but more importantly is from no lack and from be willing to see how can I create something even greater for me and for the world? And that's very much benevolent capitalist. So from that moment in time, I began to start doing investment from that space, because I don't want to do investment from the space of this contextual reality. Yeah. I was so determined that if I'm going to do any investment, if I'm going to be so good and be the master of my money and finance, I would like to come from the totally different place. Since I've been, we know each other for how many years? I have no idea, 17, 18?
Oh, it's longer than that. It's about 21
20?
years. We met each other when we were 20. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? But, since we've been doing this for ages, I know that that's the commitment that I don't want to function in this reality. And that include finance, that include investment, that include, the way I function in the world with money. I don't normally talk to anyone or trying to, teach anyone about it. But I suppose with you, it's the only person that whatever you ask me, I'm willing to talk about it, about what I do.
We are on a podcast, by the way. There's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh.
So, okay. So I just want to reiterate some of the things that you said there as well. And then let's go into a little bit of like what sort of investments that you do have, because I think they're really key elements. And I know, as Chutisa just said, and I know for myself as well, it's like any of the investments I have, it's not from this place of like, ooh, this greed, like how much money can I get in the bank account, like that. It's really not. It's like, for starters, every single thing I invest, I'm willing to lose, because if I don't have that energy as I invest that I'm willing to lose it, then it ends up controlling me. And if I have that energy of like I'm willing to lose it, then there's this joy factor that comes in. And what I notice is you have this awareness of everything that's possible. You'll get these whispers of like, oh, yep, over here, do this, like, or ring this person, or what about that? Like if I look at all the properties I've purchased, I haven't scoured through realestate.com to look at properties. Like literally the last investment property I bought, I was on a massage table getting a massage, and my massage therapist went, oh, the woman who owns the house that she rents is selling it, and I know where it is, and it's on this, you know, like none of the real estate or anything like that that I purchased. I didn't scour through, you know, realestate.com or anything. They just showed up like in these most random of ways. Like the last investment property I got, I was on a massage table and my massage therapist was talking about the house she lives in and that it was up for sale. And I know where she lives and I love that area. And I literally just like sat up on the table and I was like, really? And then we found out that it was under contract. And I said to her, if that contract doesn't go through, can you ping me? And it was like 5 days later and she pinged me and went, guess what? Contract's fallen through. And I went, you know, we created that, right? So now I have this investment property in a beautiful area that I've always wanted to own a property. So they've shown up with this energy of like, hi, I'm here. It's like whispers of the universe. And it hasn't been this place of, I don't know, not having to work it out or make it hard. So let's go to Chutisa. What are some of the things that you have invested in? Like, I know that you've got share trading accounts and it may be even like they vary. You do day trading as well, don't you?
I think let's go to when you said that you made a mistake doing a lot of things in your own name at the beginning, and that was a mistake.
A rookie mistake. So, no mistakes. There's no mistakes really. It was just something I learned. It's like, hey, I've got a first world problem. I've got money sitting in a trading account that if I sell it, I have capital gains tax. But hey, there's ways you can counteract that. I'm just waiting for that moment.
Okay, so for me, that was the first awareness that I wanted to make investment a business, right? I didn't want to do investment as an individual person. So I wanted to create the whole business as investment. And that's the key thing that I would like to invite everyone to consider if you really want to create your life as your business and your investment also as the business. Because when you create investment as the business, it's actually do everything from a space of generating money as part of the business. So you don't pay tax as your own personal tax return. So that's crucial.
Yeah,
you know,
I know that now.
So that's why I said, let's go back to that one. If people are going to start doing investment, open share trading account or even invest in property, do it in the business account. So you might open in Australia, we can open it in trust or in, you know, LLC or PTY LTD. So you have to talk to your accountant about which structure is the best thing for you to actually start investing and create the business in wealth creation with. So from that space, I do a lot of stuff because I love multiple stream of possibilities with what I do. So I have one key trading account that I trade most things, and that is true trading, because you can either do investments or trading, and the taxation department will only classify you as a trader if you are actively trading, actively working as a trader, meaning there has to be certain, you know, like certain amount of action and trading that you do. Otherwise, you investor. So be aware of what are you choosing to be. Are you choosing to be a trader or are you choosing to be an investor? So those are the things. So I am a trader. I am an active trader who, noise coming in, active trader who actually actively trading. And the main active trading for me is New York Stock Exchange.
I was just
because Sorry, go ahead.
You go.
Because I try all kind of different form of trading, and the one that ping me the most, the one that's so joyful for me to do is option trading. Option trading is something that, you know, give me so much fun, so much joy, and so much possibilities. And I do option trading from a space of adventure and fun and possibilities. And that's one key things that, again, Gary Douglas is the one that always encouraged me to look at trading from space of possibility, from create possibility, not from creating result. And that day that I changed my way of trading and investing from just trying to get result to create possibilities, you know, not looking for result, but always looking for possibilities, make me choose to do something totally different to what I would have been doing if I'm just so focusing on getting result, making more money, getting result, making more money. Because sometimes the choice that I would make every morning doesn't mean, because it's not predictable. There's nothing predictable in New York Stock Exchange, particularly in the last 2 years, because things change so quickly that 1 minute so wonderful, the next minute is so the predictability is just not there. So to be a trader with the New York Stock Exchange, if we could not make the choice to do it from a space of possibilities, you would go crazy. You would just go crazy because it's so up and down so much.
So can you explain a little bit about what options? Okay, so we've covered 3 different things here, and because one of the things I wanted to sort of talk about here too, and I know that I pinged you personally, Chutisa, and said, hey, I'd love to talk to you about trading, and maybe that's a separate thing, because I actually would like to have this podcast also go in that line where people who even just want to start, they've got some tools that they could listen to here and then walk away with it. So one of the things I wanted to look at is, because you've also got investment trading, right? And thank you for that description, because that's what I have. I have investment trading. I have been looking at, I got some links the other day about starting to look at day trading, and I heard that you have to get a PC.
No, you don't. No, everything
Really?
done everything done online on platform. You don't need to have a PC.
Well, but I also want to do options trading.
There are so many forms of trading that you could do. Day trading is, to me, I even play with the day trading and Forex trading, but for me, it's so much about result, so much about what you're going to make money, so much about how much money you're going to make each day. And it was not fun for me. So I played with that for a little bit. And then I did commodity trading. When I look at all different commodity, gold, silver, all those things. And that in itself wasn't so joyful for me either. So I play with every single form of trading. You said it's about there's another part of investment as well that I have is I have 2 Australian platform, investment platform like, ComSec and CMC, but those are for investing in Australian share, right? I don't trade in the Australian platform. I opened the platform, Charles Schwab in New York, because that would allow me to trade New York Stock Exchange. And I want to trade New York, I wanted to trade New York Stock Exchange because you could not trade the big company in Australia with the Australia investment platform.
Is there any platform that you can trade on? Because there's 9 trading platforms, right? I'm just going to Google it.
Yes, there's a lot. Some of them allow Australian to be part of, like Interactive Broker. I think anyone and everyone can trade on it. And they have a very good deal. Interactive brokers pretty cheap compared to Charles Schwab's. I think that's a little bit more expensive. But I have been doing Charles Schwab's for probably over 10 years now, and I'm not doing it just purely looking at how much it costs to trade. I'm looking at, is it which platform would be more expensive for me to trade? And every time I ask that question, I get Charles Schwab's. So that's why I choose that platform. So it's important to be the question about which platform would be more fun and joy for you to trade. Because if we, as Australian, we hear, if we're going to trade New York Stock Exchange, we have to be willing to be up, 4 o'clock to about 6:30 or something before the stock. That's the time I do last 2 hours of the New York Stock Exchange. So I'm normally up between 4:30, 5 o'clock just to see.
My dad used to do that. He'd wake up, and I think it was also just the quiet in the house, no one else was awake, and he'd make his cup of tea. He would be there for the New York Stock Exchange opening. But he also, he was an investment trader, but he also did it because there was a sense of joy, and there was this he liked seeing what was going on in the world. So there's 48 countries with their that have stock market indices and currencies. So
yes. Everywhere, like Hang Seng, everyone have a stock exchange. But if you want to play with the big company, New York Stock Exchange
does not have a stock exchange. That's what I'm just Googling right now, ladies and gentlemen, hot off the press. So, okay, so here's some questions I want to ask you, because you've already sort of mentioned this, but what are some of the tools, and if you were using, you say questions, what are some of the questions that you would ask when you're trading, etc.?
Well, the thing that Steve and I ask all the time for quite some time now is, this question everyone heard before, but people tend to want to ask from wanting the answer and result of what else can we add to our life. It's a simple question, but it's so powerful. Yeah. If you tap into, we used to play with this question, what do we want to create as our life? And whenever we asked that question, it felt very small and limited for us. When we asked, what do we want to create as our life? It felt like it's always going to wanting to find the answer contextual. So when we started asking, what could we add to our life with everything? We keep looking at, there's funrise that we can add. There's thing popping into our awareness of what we could add to our life. And it's not from the answer, from looking at, have you considered adding, REIT to our investment? Have we considered doing something? So it's that question alone is the first question that we always ask. What else can we add to our life? And be willing to receive all of those awareness of what you could add. And that's include what you could add to your investment portfolio.
So go ahead.
No, you have a question. I want to hear.
Some of the questions that people have, I'm trying to put all these questions together, is that when you choose stocks, and it's I know it's not the how do you choose stocks, but so one person wrote in and said that when they lived in America, they had engagement with a lot of people in IT, so therefore they got a lot of information, and that's how they got the information with trading. And they were saying, I don't have that anymore. So I would say too, it's listen, because everything's different. I just recently invested in funeral homes in Australia, because there's more people dying at the moment, you know, and so did Gary Douglas in the US. And it's like, what's going on in the world? So what would you recommend for like, how do you choose the stocks? Like, how do you look at the different companies, the trades, etc.? Like, what would you recommend for people?
Okay, so like I said, my main focus in investment is option trading, and I do naked put option trading, meaning I look at naked. Yeah, every morning I get a naked put option trading. And some morning it was pretty naked at 4:30.
Yeah, literally.
But what naked put option means, and the two ways you can look at naked put option is meaning you don't actually trade to end up buying a stock, but you could, that the second option is you could choose to do that as well. I learned this from studying Warren Buffett because I wanted to know everything about how he actually chose to be everything that he could be with his investments. And I found out that when he invested in anything, when he wants to invest in stock, like he was very keen with Coca-Cola company, right? He wanted to own Coca-Cola company, but he could just have gone in and buy, you know, million share of Coca-Cola, but he didn't. What he did is he sold put option to have the right to, at the end, be assigned to buy those Coca-Cola share. But in the meantime, while he's doing writing, meaning selling put option, he get paid the premium, meaning they put money into your bank account. And if you don't get assigned, you get to keep that premium, the money that's already in your bank account. So you function like the company, insurance company, basically. You insure, you get the money paying in your bank account first. So when I studied Warren Buffett, and what he did was he wanted to buy Coca-Cola share, and he sold put option on those shares, and he received a premium of $75 million that he get to keep, whether he get assigned the share or not. But he wanted to assign to get to buy the share anyway. So when
work, though, because he gets assigned $75 million, and I get that. So how much money are you putting up to get assigned that 75 million?
Well, what happened is you need to have money in your account. They're not going to let you do the option trading if you don't have money in your trading account, right?
So do you have to have that, like that amount of money in your bank account?
Oh, yes. Yes, for him, he would have billions of dollars in that account. But but you know, you could trade with, you know, 200,000 in your account. So the amount of
let's use $10,000. Let's use $10,000 as an example.
Well, it depends on the share. If you have $10,000 in your bank account and you're trying to trade Tesla share, you can't, because Tesla share is $1,000 to trade. And when you trade put option, you have to have a contract of 100 shares. So every one contract, there's 100 shares. So if you buy Tesla, if you sell put option of Tesla share, which at the moment is 1,050 per share, and then multiply by 100. So that's what, 100,000, something, right? So basically, when the price dropped down to the certain level and you get assigned to buy, you have to have that money in your account to be able to buy it.
They give you the green light, go.
You've got to have it. Because if you don't have the money in it, they try not to do they wouldn't do that, because you go bankrupt. But if you only trade the small share, like the share that only worth what, $10 a share, whatever that $10 a share, right? and you buy one contract, then you buy 100 shares worth $10 a share. So if your share get assigned, you have to have $1,000 to be able to buy those shares.
So let me see if I'm working this out, because you're an amazing woman, Chutisa, and this is the second time I've spoken to you about this. And I think I'm getting this, what you're talking about, right? So the idea is, and this is called options, right? So the idea is, it's like
naked option is a term, right?
Option.
So naked option meaning you have no share, you don't own anything.
But you're literally playing with this. So you're putting in like, yes, I'd like these shares, but it's naked options. So you're looking at so you sort of like, say it is a $10 share, right? And you have 100 of them. So when the share's going up or down, you can like buy and sell at the same time. But the second they go, yes, the shares are yours, you have to have the money to actually pay for them. But in the interim, you've already started, like, you can buy, sell, that sort of thing. Is that the way that works?
Absolutely. Yeah. People think that it's so dangerous and so risky to trade naked put option, because once you sell naked option, you get stuck, but you never get stuck. There's no such thing of stuck, except your mindset that it's stuck. You can make the choice to change.
Yeah, why would people say that you're stuck with it?
Because they think, let's say when you buy, this is sound complicated, but it's not. Let's say the option has the expiring date, a different date, and the longer you go and sell option, the more premium you get. The closer to the option expiring date, the less premium you get, right? And people tend to think, oh, once I sell option, I get the premium, but if something go wrong, I can't choose, I can't change, I'm stuck with the option I have. What I'm saying is, if you're going to trade option, you have to function from question, choice, possibility, and contribution. This is the thing that trained me to come from question, choice, possibility, and contribution. Before I have about 10 shares that I play with. So I like to play with big guns. I like to play with Tesla, Apple, NVIDIA, something that really volatile. A lot of people don't like playing with volatility because it's risky. But if you function from awareness, if you truly function from question, choice, possibility, and contribution, and if you can't function from every day you wake up and ask, what can I change here? What can I change here? What can I change here? And be willing to lose. Be willing to lose, because if something turns against you, like this morning when I woke up, the stock market in New York was diving heavily, so crazy. Every single share, that. So I had to look at it and say, okay, what can I change here? What can I change here? What choice do I have here? Because without asking that question, I would go into reaction. We cannot function from reaction when we trade option. Reaction is the thing that we have to make a choice to eliminate. As soon as we go into reaction, we jump into the universe of crazy people that trading New York Stock Exchange. So number one is not be willing to never react, but be willing to look at, crazy. Insanity is happening here. What would I choose? Would I choose to react and be part of insanity? Or what could I choose here that would allow me to work around and be greater than is insanity? And be willing to change, and be willing to lose, and be willing to lose when it's not huge loss. Or you can choose to change and cut your losses quickly, then you can buy it back. It's require huge awareness, and be willing to risk, and be willing to lose, and be willing to be the question. So normally have about 10 shares that I look at every morning. And I tap into, I just connect with those shares, right? And Tesla is an interesting share because besides being a share itself that you can connect to, there's a crazy man called Elon Musk who constantly making, you know, Twitter remark and things that would change everything. Like, you know, when you think, okay, Chair, thank you very much. And then Elon will do he would tweet something and everyone panicked and started to react. And then you thought, oh God, what contribution can I be here to stop people from reacting to what he was saying? Like this 2 weeks ago, he tweeted something to people and say, look, the taxation department said to me that I will have to pay billions of dollars in tax with all of the bonus stock that he received, and he said he's going to start selling them off. And then
So everyone goes, no.
You know, like, and then so for us who have the tools of access, we can just sort of really breathe and say, so what else is truly possible? What choice can we choose here? Do we sell now? Do we take action? Yes, no is so strong. Even before I choose which expiration date I would choose, I would run through the expiration date without even looking that amount of premium I get. So I would say Tesla, yes, no, and I get a no, I move on. Apple, yes, no. If I get a no, I move on. And if I get Tesla, I get a strong yes, not maybe. If I get a strong yes, then I run through like, January expression, yes, no. February, yes, no. November, yes, no. So I go, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And it's amazing when it said yes, it's yes. When it says no, it's no, no. You know, like you can get that energy so strongly. So I use yes, no with where should I put my money today?
I just want to expand on that because there's a lot of people who tap into my podcast who haven't done access consciousness. And if you have done access consciousness, you probably have heard the tool that Chutisa is talking about it. And please go check out some classes. You can go to accessconsciousness.com. But this is a golden tool. And I just want to mention too, you were saying it takes a lot of awareness. I would actually say it just takes awareness. Like, it's not like you have to wake up and really work on what's your awareness. It's more so, what if you had no reflexive reaction to what is going on? Like, you don't have this reflex, like this panic, like what Chutisa was just talking about. You breathe and just be like, okay. And the way you use this yes, no tool is literally like Chutisa was saying. It's like, okay, will this make me money? Yes, no. Now you can do it in any way. You can, do it with, what are you going to eat for dinner, etc. It's like, what does your body want? It's like, does it want chicken? Yes, no. It's like, and the way this works is you're literally tapping into now and the future of what is being created and actualized by the choices and the action of the whole entire world. And most people are only truly willing to look at today. They say they're willing to be aware of the future, but so many people are not willing to be aware of the future. They would like to predict the future. And as Chutisa mentioned really earlier on this podcast, is the New York Stock Exchange is not predictable. Your life is not predictable. Everything is not predictable. So if you take away that reflex action and you take away that panic and you take away the what's everyone else doing and like that check-in, it's like who bought, who sold, like who's doing what, and you just relaxed with it, and it's way easier. Like your body is happier as well because you relax with it. And I mean, that is a golden tool that Chutisa just gave. She's got these 10 stocks that she chooses to deal with. And she's like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's not like this huge thing that she goes into and reads up articles about it. Might she read articles or watch a video or read a book? Sure, but not based on necessity, based on it pings her. it's got that same energy as that yes, no, because I do that with different books or different articles, or sometimes I'll be in the kitchen and I'll watch some YouTube videos of CEOs that have done their interviews or something like that, because I'm learning more about the company, but not based on I have to study this company, based on it just pinged me. And that is so key with all of this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this. And if you haven't started investing, just start with anything. Like I said, I started my first trading account with $100. It's like, and you know, I mean, I love that you said that you studied Warren Buffett, and I quickly went, oh, I want to see if he's got any books on Audible, because that's my new best friend at the moment, Audible. And
Yeah,
I
he
really
has
like
many books.
okay, cool. So then I'll look at, because you know what I did the last 2 years, I brought all these books and it's like they're still sitting there. I just don't find the time to do that. But if I'm out walking or in the sauna or cooking or anything like that, then listening to books, I've realized is works for me at this moment. And I love one of the things that Warren Buffett said a while ago. I think someone was interviewing him and they said, why do you think people don't actually, listen to you? And he said, because most people want to get rich overnight. And this is a long game. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I just want to say to anyone who's listening to this, if you heard some of this and you get it, great. If you didn't, that's okay. That's okay. It's like you'll hear what you hear when you hear it, and you'll get it when you get it. And maybe listen to this podcast a few times and start, Googling if the naked options, appealed to you, which I know it appealed to me. I was like, oh, and it's like, start Googling it and find out, like, educate yourself and find out some more information, and then play. That is the biggest thing I can say to you with investment. Play. And if you don't know something, it's okay to ask. You don't have to get it right at all. Absolutely. I do not know everything about investment. I don't know everything about business. And written a book about business. I've written a book about getting out of debt. I don't know everything about that. But what I have chosen is I've been there, done that. And I've used tools and I've changed my life in different areas. And Chutisa has written multiple books as well. Where's the best place for them to actually find you, website wise?
Amazon. Just Google
Chutisa
Bowman.
Chutisa Bowman. You can Google Chutisa Bowman, and there's a lot of books and everything that she has there too. So if any of this pings you, it's like, choose it because it's fun and it works for you. You don't have to make it significant. You don't have to make it serious. It's like, I was really grateful for Chutisa and Steve, her husband, many, many years ago, when they first were in India, and we were asking them questions, my ex, Brandon Watt and I, about how to set up companies and trusts and everything in Australia. And they started drawing on napkins, like how they had set everything out. And so that's how our first financial 101, meeting was, over cups of tea in India with drawing on napkins. And we didn't own a house. We didn't, have any of that. And so what we did was we took the next step, and then we took the next step. We even went and had a consult, booked a consultation with their accountant. So to get some more information, where can we go now? Where can we go now? And like Chutisa said, with that question of, what else can we add? And not from looking for a result or an answer or be money driven. I cannot stress that piece enough. Anyone I know that has that money driven, power hungry, like control thing, to me, never seems to have much fun with it. And so many people I know that the money sort of shows up. It's like you're playing with everything, and then money's like, hi, I'm here again, knock, 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 and then there's more money to play with. And it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding as you relax and have that awareness and that choice and everything. So I just wanted to sort of break that down a little bit for people.
Absolutely. You just hit the nail on the head there, for the fact that if you look to invest and become an investor just for money, stop and go and look at what else is truly possible. Because if you're doing investment for fun, for possibilities, for create sustainable future for you and for everyone, for the fun of it, then investment is a good vehicle for you to generate money with total ease. Because in particularly share market, it's so fast moving that will allow your money, velocity of money, to move fast. And the faster your money move, the more it create and generate with ease, right? But if your focus is purely, I want to make money, can you feel that if you go into investment from I want to make money, it's space of you are lacking. Whenever you go, I'm going to invest because I want to improve my financial situation. What if you relax into, like Simone said, relax into your awareness, relax into, would investing, would trading be fun? And if you don't get a yes, find something else. Seriously. I mean, if if investing is not fun, don't go into it, because
you don't have to.
there's
other things that you can invest in as well if you would like to. Like I mentioned, currency trading, or you could invest in silver. It's like there's so many different things, and you don't have to invest either. But if you're interested, I think this is a good place to start. I was having a little chuckle because we were in Mexico recently, and our mutual friend David Kubis, who has been on my podcast a few times, we were swimming in the pool and with a guy that we work with, and David and I were talking about, and I said, hey, have you bought any of this stock lately? Have you seen where it's at? And a certain stock that we both have. And we both looked at each other and I went, market's open. And there was just this energy. And so we both got out of the pool. We had our cocktail and everything. We both logged on because we were on our computers. But this guy that we both work with just went, you two are hysterical. You're in the pool having a cocktail and you're both just like, now's the time. And it was like, but you could perceive the energy and it was like, yeah, this is fun. This is joyful. Let's go. So, yeah. So,
but neither you nor David Kubis would do that just because of the money. If you tap into the energy of what Simone was talking about, it's the adventure. It's a joy of creation and a joy of going on adventure. You can feel the adventure of, let's do it. It's so much fun. Because people who would want to go in for the money, it will be so heavy energy that I need to make money. I need to invest so I can make money. Then every single choice you make will be so all about the result of making more money. And then you would never make much money from that space, because as soon as we function from I need, necessity, need, like Simone said before, whenever we function from necessity of investing because I want to make more money, it's hard work.
It is hard work. Hey, Chutisa, we're at the end of the show. So I want to thank you so much for coming on here. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And I love that you have been quite a regular guest on my podcast with your amazing husband, Steve.
Thank you.
I'd love to have
so much fun. I think, between you and I, we talk about all kinds of things because, the conversation is just flowing for the fun of it. And I think anyone else tap in probably going, what's they going on about? But, it's just the energy of joyful adventure is very much what both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much. And everyone, if you like these shows, etc., subscribe, do all those things, share it with your friends, your family, your foe, whoever. And I'll see you next time. So thank you so much, Chutisa, for joining me. And goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
If you're enjoying this podcast and have a question or topic you'd like me to address, please leave a review wherever you are listening. The best way for me to know what it is you want to hear about is to send in your questions, and we actually read all the reviews that come in. So let us know which episodes you loved and what you want to hear about next, right there in the podcast reviews. And thank you. Truly, truly grateful.